Our region's business is sponsored by PNC Bank, solutions that help you achieve your goals in life. PNC, leading the way. And by Heffron Tillotson, a history of meticulous wealth management since 1948. Our region's business, innovation, transformation, momentum, improving our communities and driving technologies that will shape our region for generations. The collaboration that brings vitality, prosperity, and life to living. Stay with us for the coming half hour as we examine in depth our region's business. Now, here's your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, getting back to the basics in how we handle money, plus honoring excellence in education. But first, expanding medical frontiers. Over the past few decades, our region has emerged as one of the world's great centers of organ transplantation. And more recently, we've been using that expertise not just to transplant organs, but to create man-made devices that do what organs do. Pete DeComo is the chairman and CEO of one of those emerging medical device companies in our region. The company's called ALung, and Pete's back with us today. Welcome. Good to see you.
Well, thank you, Bill, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, people may not know you from ALung because your name has been associated with another medical device startup success, and that company is called Renal Solutions.
That's correct. That's correct. And you may remember you and I talked about Renal Solutions on this program a number of years back, and we've had a very positive experience with Renal Solutions over the years. We've raised $40 million in venture investing money, and in November of 2007 we were acquired by the largest renal dialysis company in the world, Fresenius Medical Care, and they paid $200 million for the company. But Renal Solutions remains in the region. We continue to grow and employ some of the top quality engineers in the region, and it was a very positive outcome for the region and for the company.
And for people who don't know, it was a whole new approach to dialysis.
Very, very much a new approach to dialysis. We had a unique and proprietary technology that enabled us to do dialysis really anywhere with only 1.5 gallons of drinkable tap water, which was very different than conventional dialysis, which required hundreds of gallons of purified water to do a standard 3 to 4 hour treatment.
Wow, and essentially the ALung technology sort of what does for the lungs what Renal Solutions did for the kidneys?
In essence, it is. You know, the kidney dialysis machine is often referred to as an extracorporeal device. That means you take blood out of the body, you treat it, and you put it back into the body. The ALung device is also an extracorporeal device. However, it differs in the sense that when you take the blood out of the body in the ALung device, what you're doing is extracting carbon dioxide and putting oxygen into the blood and then returning the blood back to the body. You do this when the patient has difficulty breathing on their own and is about to enter into what's commonly called respiratory failure.
And that's where they'd have the tubes down into the lungs.
That's exactly right. And the problem with the tube down the throat and being put on the ventilator is typically when that happens, the patient has this tube down their throat, which can cause a lot of damage to the breathing passageway. Then they get put on a ventilator, which controls their breathing. They have to be sedated, so they're basically semi-comatose. And once you do that, typically the patient becomes dependent on the ventilator. And once they wake up, it takes what's called a weaning period to get them off the ventilator. That can extend your stay in the ICU 3 to 5 days at a cost of $5,000 to $7,000 per day.
Wow.
The ALung device is used to take that carbon dioxide out of the blood and put that oxygen into the blood, basically supporting the patient's own spontaneous breathing. And when you do that, the likelihood of them going into respiratory failure is greatly reduced. Therefore, they never go on that ventilator, they never need that tube down their throat, they never have to be weaned, and you save 3 to 5 days in the ICU by doing that, so there's tremendous cost savings to the hospital.
And buys time to help them sort of heal naturally without creating further damage.
That's exactly right. I mean, for example, one of the greatest side effects, negative side effects of being on a ventilator is what is called ventilator-associated pneumonia. It's because you put a foreign body into the air passageway and you're putting gas in and out of the patient's body, and they sometimes get affected, develop a pneumonia. Well, if you develop that pneumonia, the average cost to resolve that pneumonia is about $136,000 per patient, which adds to the cost of that intensive care unit stay.
So ALung, how far along is the company? It's pretty early stage in terms of commercialization, right?
Well, the company has been around for over 10 years. The technology was originally developed at the University of Pittsburgh in the artificial lung program. Some of the listeners may remember Dr. Brack Hattler. He was the original inventor of the technology. The technology is now at a stage where it's actually being used in animals at the McGowan Institute at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. The results from those studies with sheep is very, very positive. The device works. It's very stable. We'll go into first human use in the July-August time frame, and then we'll be applying to the FDA for use on a commercial basis in 2010-2011.
Well, a little less than a minute left, but I would take it there's a lot of similarities in getting a company like ALung off the ground to what you experienced in Renal Solutions.
Very, very many similarities. One of the greatest challenges today, frankly, in terms of moving these companies through the value creation life cycle is raising money. And in today's economic times, it's very difficult to raise money, and it's a process that we're going through with ALung right now.
Okay, and you're grinding away at it?
We're grinding away at it, and we're very optimistic, and we're hoping that ALung will be another Renal Solutions for the region with a very positive outcome for the investors as well as the employees.
You know, we've had some great world-class success stories here with MedRad, Respironics, now Philips, Renal Solutions joining the club, and ALung in the wings.
ALung coming behind.
Yeah, well, Pete DeComo, congratulations, and good luck with it all.
Well, thank you very much, Bill. It's a pleasure being here.
Appreciate it. Next up, if indeed the child is father to the man, then the solutions to some of our current economic ills could be as close as a youngster's guide on how to handle money. We'll explore that concept when we return.